situation. They need a couple more depth pieces. They were relying a lot on Jordan Clark. I think Jordan Clarkson was leading scorer.
Since they got him at the deadline, it's
player,
crazy. But
he's
been their best bench guy, and
but you can't be the leading scorer at the half.
No, just like you said about OG.
You can't be doing that. Like, and again, Donovan Mitchell looked tired. I'm like, he's 50 points here, 40 points.
He's handling the ball a lot. He looked exhausted.
And again, that's
Conley's been terrible. 40 minutes, 8 points.
Well, again, Conley hasn't been the same player for the last 3 years.
2 for 13.
So yeah, you don't want him shooting that shot. But again, you really had no choice. I don't know if they had a timeout in that situation. I would have, again, same thing. I would have called a timeout and set up a play. But I didn't know if they had one at that point because the game was pretty much wrapped up. But you know what? Like, you have Vince in the Philly. You got one shot. You literally rimmed out. It looked like it was good.
It did.
And then, but you know what? I think that Denver deserved it from what Murray had been doing, and I'm glad to see that the Kitchener boys really came to play.
He's dominated.
He's been a guy that was, what is he? He's a good player, but now he's gone up to a level where you got him on that
top 20 player in the league,
top 20 all-star player, and that's because he's shown out in the playoffs. And this is the stage.
And that's to be honest what we've been waiting for from our guys.
Yeah, well, in a situation where again he had a good.
Fred's been solid for the most part.
As a quote unquote lead situations, it's all well and good when again it's easy. Like again, I'm playing basketball with you and all the attention's on you. Then I have some open looks. I can hit them all good. But then when you're off the team and you go to a better pass,
start your own team.
You start my own team, and then everyone's I'm the focal point. Then you get a different ball game, and that's been their issue. Again, their efficiency levels. Like there was a chart I saw it last year. Their efficiency levels with Kawhi off the court in the first 3 games against Philly were staggeringly terrible. I'm talking it was like 109 with Kawhi on and 40 and 50s. I saw the tweet. It was like 40 and 50s, and then with Kawhi on 109, 110, it was like half. It was ridiculous. That's why literally Nurse would have to literally give Kawhi 2 minutes and get him back in. Yeah. It was insane. You would think they would have taken a step, and I know we're not supposed to be doing Raptors again, but
okay, but just to say that, and that's why, like I said, when I keep coming back to Boston and Miami being the toughest matchups for the Raptors, when you're we talked about this so many times, when you're playing Sacramento, Phoenix, Charlotte, these teams in the regular season, you don't need to worry about any of that because they're not good defensive teams. There's no pressure on you to win any of these games. When you get to the second round, the third round, the finals, you're playing against teams that bring it on defense, that have proven performer, guys that can hit shots. That's what you need to measure. That's your barometer for success. Not how you win against teams below 500.
See, they gave me a bit of fool's gold because of how they did in the bubble.
Drop the Mr. Grant stuff.
Yeah, because if you look at it, they had the hardest schedule in the bubble, and I'm thinking, oh man, this.
We did talk about how rough it was going to be. Yeah,
I was thinking, they Boston's not too far away. If they go like 3 for 5 or win 2 out of this,
they might drop out of the
second spot. So and when they go in there and they go 7-1, where they only lose the game against Boston,
but they get smacked,
which was a stinker on a Friday night, and they got smacked. I had a little bit of higher hopes because they beat Miami at full strength. They beat the Nuggets, they beat the Lakers. I'm thinking, okay, so these guys might be a problem. I even went on a different Las Vegas betting one, and I'm like, they legitimately asked me, and maybe I was using my heart instead of more of my head. They asked me, who's winning the championship, and I'm like, I gotta go with the Raptors because I'm like, just the way the momentum, how they have been playing, and then the guy, one of the guys, just looking at me, shaking his head, and I'm like, it's not me trying to be a homer. I legitimately think that they got things going, but yeah, and again, even the Vegas odds were getting a little higher up there because of how they've been playing, but. Again, for the moment, you cannot shoot. Again, 35-40% off of 3, you're winning the games. Getting some stuff out of you get the same continuation out of like guys like Serge, you're winning the games. Just equal out with the big 3. I don't think that's asking too much, to be honest with you.
Okay, question for you.
Equal out the 3 guys, equal out the points, or even get a little bit closer. Not 20.
Yeah. Okay, so question. Do you think that you have a few free agents coming up now, right? Mark obviously probably will be back with the team, so don't worry about that. OG and Fred specifically, do you think that their playoff performances so far, and they've been complete opposite? Not to say that Fred's been decent. Obviously, he hasn't been good the last 2 games. Does Fred have money to lose right now, or do you think that he's going to get paid regardless? Do you think that if he goes out shooting the way he's shooting, and OG continues at the pace that he's been at, averaging 18, 20 points this series, playing some pretty good defense, do you think that there's a bit of a swing in terms of the next contract these guys sign?
I think again, OG again. Even if they go out in four, if OG continues to play the way that he is, he's going to get paid and deservedly so. He's a good defensive player. He's had some bad luck with a couple of those. Like I think both those 3-point shots where they ended up being 4-point plays ended up being him because he got undercut a couple times and then he falls over on guys' legs, which is again unfortunate. He's done again. I don't know what he's going to get money wise. If he's going to get 15 or whatever it is, I don't think he's going to get anywhere close to the max because he's been injured and he doesn't have the offensive game. When it comes to Fred, and I said last time we did this, the guy's a fan favorite. If he gets offers, and I know the Knicks want him, if he starts getting offers at crazy money, I think he might overprice himself out of the team. It's simple that because at the end of the day, based off of what you're seeing now, if this continues for them, if they get swept and he has a terrible series, there's no way you can tell me that you're going to give that guy $25 million based off him shooting 5 for 22 from the 3-point line. And again, he was terrible defensively yesterday, which is not
uncharacteristic
because he's usually quite good. Marcus Smart was eating him alive at the time, which is a problem. So yeah, he's definitely in a situation where if the Knicks offer him a max deal, you're probably saying
I don't think he's getting a max. If he would have, and it would have been close before this series, or if let's say he had a playoff similar to what he did in the finals last year, if he's averaging 20 against a team like Boston, where he's scoring 100 points, you're doing 20% of your team scoring, you're going to get paid. But like we talked about so many times, when the cream rises to the top in all of these semifinals, the conference finals, and we've seen time and time again from the Raptors without a superstar, what their true colors are.
So I'll give you a little bit of a metaphor in a situation. So they're right now they're in a Mike Tyson fight where you're fighting against a guy like Mike Tyson. In the first round, they were fighting a guy like Buster Douglas. That's the problem. I think that's also the first game was a huge wake up call because while the Celtics had again the 76ers weren't at full strength without Ben, it was more of a grind out series. The Raptors handily, except for game 2, then the Nets were pretty much outclassed in a cakewalk. You're facing guys that are literally off the streets half the time. So they probably were like,
we're gonna walk into this
one. In the first game, they're like, oh man, like this is a different step of level in competition. They weren't ready. They weren't ready because again, Boston had been playing at that for the last 4 games with Philly because it was a tighter series. And then game 2 happens where they play a lot. They play better in a sense defensively, in my opinion, in a lot of instances. But then they still can't shoot. So they've gotten the gap. And now that they need to bring it. But yeah, it was Buster Douglas, and now you step up to Mike Tyson or Lennox Lewis or whatever. And that's their issue. Now they got to bring up and raise their game. If these guys can't do it, Yeah, Pascal's is already been signed. He's gonna be the generation.
He's gonna be there for the next 5.
Kyle is done as of next year. That's it. That's gonna be it for him. And yes, do you keep Fred in a sense that he's your future point guard? That's gonna be how Masai's got a lot. He definitely has a plan in order, and he's gonna have the money because he's gonna like more. I think Serge has been useful enough that I'd probably bring him back on a 1 year if it's a reasonable deal. Mark's probably gone. Great memories. Thanks for the parade, little drunken situation, good defense. But again,
we need to get my man a stress reliever.
I just don't. And again, Mark was an all-star for years and years. And again, he's still his age. But I've never seen a guy lose an offensive game like he's lost. Like he's a legitimately guy that's throwing out donuts, and a guy that used to average at least 18 20 points a game, and it was easy for him. Right now, he looks like one of the guys in the
YMCA.
No, in the freaking Space Jam 2 that he lost his talent offensively. The aliens got him through the nose because he at the end of the day lost. Yeah. That's how some of his years. Yeah, like he goes up for a layup. He looks like he's Charles Barkley.
Okay, so first play of the game or first basket of the game for the Raptors. I remember yesterday when they went up 2-0. They feed Mark the ball down low, and the rim is literally right here. You're 7-1. Throw it down, set the tone for the team. Say, you know what, our big man's here. We're gonna feed him, do something. This is a guy that one of the best post guys in the game. His entire career, and he'll operate down low. Now he's become a hesitant 3-point shooter.
It's a shell of what he was.
And nothing, and I don't get it.
Big Spade.
But I digress.
We're going to
need to move on right now and talk about the last series. So we got the Clippers right now against Denver. We talked about Denver. Do you think really that there's any chance that the Clippers lose this series?
So, I mean, I think the Nuggets are going to be significantly worn out for again with only they play again tomorrow. They don't have much rest. Matchup wise, I think the Nuggets are better defensively than the Mavs are because the Mavs weren't good defensively, especially with Porzingis out.
Sure, yeah.
I just think that there's no. I don't want to say that Jokic isn't a Luka level player because he can be, but I mean that's probably where the Nuggets have the advantage where it's inside because you have Zubac or you have Harold on Jokic.
So they're gonna
if Jokic can have
30 and 15,
50 and Murray can continues it up, you never know. But the way that the Clippers and the way that they finished off the series with the Mavs, I don't think that the Nuggets will have enough to beat them. I think that'll be another 6-gamer because the Clippers have too much going on and they have the depth. And if Paul George wakes up, they're a problem.
If Paul George wakes up,
the last two games. And again,
Dallas looked like they were laying on the ground in those last 2 games.
Like even the Marcus Morris situation with Luka.
Oh yeah.
That's
a fight.
That got him into a fine. That to me was a suspension-worthy situation.
A serious suspension.
No, but they gave him $5,000 fine or whatever it was, or $25,000.
Can you imagine if they tried to do that to Kawhi Leonard and they had that same kind of intensity?
You clap a guy in the head like that, you try to injure the guy, and I don't care what he says. That little thing with the shoe thing, that was definitely intentional. Yeah. I don't care what he says because he knew exactly what angle it was.
That was his Zaza Pachulia on Kawhi. Remember that?
Yeah, exactly with the foot thing.
Yep.
You're trying to injure the best guy, so you have a problem. And that's the way he plays. That's the way he plays. But the league should have suspended him at least one game.
100%. Yeah.
But it is what it is. You find the guy. It's a playoff game. Whatever. They're gonna have a tougher situation with a lot of because some of the Nuggets guys are
Porter Jr. Craig.
You're gonna. The thing with Luka, after Porzingis, and again, I personally still do think with Porzingis healthy, that series might have turned out differently from the way it was looking because Luka was on. Yeah. But as soon as you lose Porzingis in that secondary scoring option, then you got to rely more on Seth Curry and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist and all these other situations. It's not going to happen. There just wasn't enough secondary scoring. And Hardaway too. This again, I'm taking the Clippers in 6 in that series because
I think it goes 6.
Yeah, I think the Nuggets will take a couple games. Murray will have a couple games. I think Jokic again. He won't have to deal with a guy like Gobert inside. He might be a difference maker, and if they win the series, he's the catalyst. I don't think it'll be Murray. I think it'll be Jokic because they don't have the guy that'll deal with Jokic inside, in my opinion.
And the playmaking.
Again, if they can hit their shots, it's going to be interesting. I think the first game the Clippers will take them because I just think they're mentally drained.
Denver's worn out from the last game.
So I can see the Clippers beating them badly tomorrow. But I think that'll be. To me, it's still the same situation that I thought it was going to be in the West. It's going to be Lakers, Clippers, and we all want to see that anyway. So let's get down to the brass tactics out there. Everyone wants to see that.
Yeah.
And again, I'm sure I'll get texts from the.
You're going to get a lot.
Because all of a sudden, he's on me. He's on the Mr. Kawhi bandwagon train and all that other stuff and whatever.
I think that I'm probably Jokic's biggest fan. But I just think that the Clippers have too much firepower, and I don't think that this game goes long. That the series goes longer than 5 games. To be honest, I think that it's a matchup problem for Denver. I don't think Denver has enough secondary scoring. They're one of the deeper teams in the league. Like the Raptors in the regular season, they have a lot of guys on the bench that can just go off. I just haven't seen it yet. I know that Utah's really good defensively, and the Clippers on paper are really good defensively. I just don't think that they brought it. I don't think Beverly's played yet. I know he's been over for most of the last series.
Beverly was out for most of the last series.
And he's arguably their best defender behind Kawhi. I know that Paul George hasn't been the same either.
The crazy thing is with the scheduling of the games being so quick that if you have an injury that puts you out a month, you can pretty much almost miss the entire series, if not 2.
Yeah.
So if it's a 4-week injury, you're pretty like Hayward's not coming back even if they're.
He looks like he's done. Even if they get to the finals, it would be tough for him to come out.
Really? I thought it was 4 weeks and when they called it, but even then, actually, to be honest with you, I'm looking at the Marcus Smart situation because
it would have been better off.
It might have been better off because Hayward's a worse defender than Smart is. I think they might be better. I mean, offensively, Hayward's the better.
They don't have the depth, but it's definitely been tougher for the Raptors for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So and then in the
Raptors coming back or what? We can't leave them hanging. I have Raptors in 7. That's the way if it's gonna play out. If it's gonna play out, it's gonna play out that way. They're not gonna beat them 4 straight. So if it's gonna play out for the Raptors, it has to be in 7. I know you said in 6, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah, I said 6. And if they come back to win 4 straight, that would be almost more impressive than anything.
Well, yeah, especially again the way that they've been playing, 100%. But again, do I legitimately think that they're gonna win the series based off what I've seen now? I mean, I'm gonna be
How many
honest.
games did the Raptors pull off?
I'm just hoping not to get swept. I guess that's gonna be the clip. That's gonna be the clip.
Oh my god!
That was from some kind of movie.
Just hoping they don't get swept. I'm gonna say Raptors can pull off 2 games.
I think the Celtics probably beat them in 6.
I think that the Raptors have to win. I don't know. I thought even that the series still goes 6. It's going to be tough for the Raptors to go 7. I can't say how many times I've said it. Just I don't think that the Raptors have the scoring to go against that type of defense, and it's going to be tough.
Well, the way that they've been going,
it's not a lock that they're going to shoot out of the shooting.
Now again,
that's another thing.
Now, Game 3, they come out guns a blazing, and they win.
And they have to come out guns a blazing.
Yeah, right? And they win, and they win handily. Then your mentality changes because they can't be again. They've been historically bad from 3, and that's not going to happen the entire series.
That's what I'm saying though. I don't know how you can be so sure that things are going to change.
Well, because they really can't get much worse.
But you can remain the same.
So they're not going to get swept. I mean, yeah.
Would you be shocked if Kyle continues to shoot 18-20% from 3? Would you be shocked?
Well, you know how I think about Kyle. I'll be honest. I have a lot more faith in Fred than I do Kyle, because I think Kyle's like that guy that he's offered you enough candy over the years, like your neighbor, and then he's burned you on a few times with some of the candy, maybe it's terrible or whatever, and after a while you just don't want candy from him at all. That kind of thing. So Kyle to me, is always going to be the guy that he was around for a championship, but he had more failures than positive times, and that's just all honesty. Fred,
playoff failures.
Yeah.
You've been solid regular season. I do have to give him that.
But Fred's in more of my good graces because at the end of the day,
he's delivered.
And to me, he's just more likable in general. To be honest.
Yeah, it's true. He's not as much of a complainer.
Yeah,
To answer the question though, I'm going to say that it goes 6. Boston wins in 6. It's tough. And to be honest, if Kawhi's here, I know that some people have said we had faith in the Raptors last year. Superfan Mo, I'm hearing you saying that have faith in the Raptors, and I want to have faith. But without Kawhi, it's going to be really tough to not have, a guarantee of 20-25 points in a series someone to lean on. And the Raptors don't have that. And for that reason, like I said, would I be shocked based on how the first 2 games have gone if they get swept? I can't say I'd be shocked. Going into the series, I would have been. Like I said, I would have said 6 or 7 either way. It's a coin flip. From an unbiased opinion, talking about it, I think it was a 50-50 series.
And we got to be realistic. If you look at the NBA champions over the last, I was since the Pistons pulled that off. I think the Pistons were the only team that I can remember that actually won a championship that didn't have a legitimate superstar player, and that's been 17 years. The Raptors had some of that DNA with the defense and so forth, but I mean, there's no Ben Wallace in there, or in my opinion, and there's
no Sheed.
Yeah, and so you need it's a star-driven league, and Pascal made the All-Star team, Kyle made the All-Star team, but to me, they're second-tier stars where you don't consider them to be top 10 players, and usually ones that like Dirk, I guess you can go. I don't know if Dirk was top 10 at that point.
Yeah, he's top 10 for
Tim
sure.
Duncan,
yeah.
It's always been a star-driven league, and the stars are the ones that usually deliver in the playoffs. And again, the Raptors saw with LeBron. I don't want to get too LeBron's horn, but at the end of the day, it is what it is, right? He owned them the majority of the times because he was just legitimately better player. Simple as that, really.
And that's going to wrap it up for this episode. We don't get swept. Raptors, don't let us down. Represent for the city.
At least make it a series.
Yeah, make it a series. Be competitive. I know the last game we lost by 3, another winnable game. Need to come out guns blazing, like you said. We're going to need to see some Marc Gasol baskets, maybe a dunk. Give him a mean face, do something different.
Big Spain, big Andorra, the way he's been playing.
For the Raptors. We're going to say our prayers for you guys. Hopefully win the series, win a few games, make us proud. For Igor and Joe, we'll see you guys next on the block. Shit.
What was that quote? I know I got that from some kind of movie or some kind of comedy series. I just hope we don't get